But for starters here, we're going to take a look at Market Tracker. So we're going to click on that template. This is going to bring up the 8 most actively traded stocks on Robinhood right now. So in this case, we have Tesla, Ford, Amazon, Google, NEO, Disney, Meta, and then Lucid Motors. And we have a candlestick chart here for each of these stocks. So right now we are getting real-time data on every single one of these stocks, updating every second or so. Now by default here, looking at something like Tesla, we have it set to a 1-day time horizon and a 5-minute time interval. Now, if you don't know what these charts are whatsoever, you should check out a lesson on technical stock analysis before you actually place trades on Robinhood Legend, because you really need to learn about charting here. But you could just play around in the platform and learn as you go, as long as you're not executing actual trades. And I'm going to be showing you executing trades later on, that way you know exactly what it looks like. Now, one of the things you can do here looking at each one of these charts is if you're hovered over a chart and you do a 2-finger drag, you can actually zoom in on that particular chart to get a tighter view. So I just did that here looking at Ford. We could also jump over to Tesla and do the same thing, zooming in and zooming out. Another feature you have up here is you can toggle between viewing the particular trading session, which shows that we're currently in market hours, or your portfolio performance. So for example, with this demo Robinhood portfolio that I have, we're currently up 1.39% today. But let's take a look now again at Tesla stock, and we're going to look at changing the time interval here. What that's going to do is change the amount of time that each one of these candles represents. So if we change that, for example, to a 1-minute candle, we're going to see a lot more individual candlesticks, because we're now getting one that is representing every single minute of trading. If you want to get as detailed as possible, you could look at one particular tick, and you can see tick by tick here in real time exactly what Tesla stock is doing. We can also jump down here and change this to every 144 ticks. This is going to be giving us a very close view here of what's going on with Tesla stock. As you can see at the bottom, the time interval is between 11:30 in the middle to 11:45. So about half of the chart, or a little bit less, is representing just 15 minutes of time, giving you a very tight view here on what's happening with the particular stock. But for example, if you wanted a more zoomed out perspective on what's happening here, you could change this interval here to represent a 4-hour interval, for example, and then you could back this out here and look at the past week of activity, and this is showing you the last week here with Tesla stock. We could also back this up here and look at a month from this interval here, and that is going to be the candlestick chart performance here for Tesla. But let's say, for example, you aren't interested in candlestick charts and maybe you want something like a line chart. What you're going to do at that point is come up here and you can see where it mentions here chart types. If you click on this, you have popular types above like candles, line, and bars, but you also have all of these other advanced chart types that honestly I'm not even familiar with, but those who are advanced traders, for example, might actually be. So we're going to switch this over to a line chart now, and now we have a line chart of the exact same interval and time horizon. So let's go ahead now and change this back here to the past day, and we're going to be looking at an interval here of every 5 minutes once again on the line chart. But now we're going to add some technical indicators for those who are looking to conduct analysis at this point. So what you're going to do here is click on this little squiggly F, and this is going to be your indicators, and at this point you can add technical indicators to this particular chart. So it's going to show you a list of the most popular below. Let's say, for example, you wanted to do a simple moving average. You would click that here. By default, it's going to be the 50-day SMA, but you can click here, and let's say you wanted the 200-day simple moving average. You would just change it like that. And just like that, we've added this technical indicator here showing us the 50-day SMA. And if we also wanted to add, for example, the relative strength index, we could click on this here and add the RSI, and that's now going to add this to our chart here. So if you wanted to customize a view here for every single one of these, you could. If you have a view in particular that you like let's say, for example, you wanted to repeat this across the board, you would go up here and you would now click on this folder icon here, and you could save this as a new template. So if we called this default, for example, and then click on the checkbox, at that point, if we come over here and click on the same button for indicators, we can load in our default view, and it's going to apply the same exact indicators from the previous one over to the next view here for Ford stock. But let's say, for example, Ford and Tesla and these other stocks are not the stocks you want to look at. If you want to change these, all you're going to do is click on the particular symbol here, and then you could change that over. So let's say, for example, you wanted Netflix. You would type in the symbol here, and there is Netflix stock. It's now going to change this to the same thing, but just for Netflix. And then let's say here, instead of Ford, you wanted to take a look at GM stock. So we're going to type in GM, click on that, and now it updates that view here for General Motors. So that's going to be it here for the market trader view. It's super helpful for looking at a lot of different stocks here at once and seeing what's going on.